Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dive into your sources, pull out the key insights, and serve them up easy to understand, sometimes surprising, and hopefully engaging. Today we're getting into something tough, something I think a lot of Amazon sellers face. Losing your PPC momentum. Things are going great, campaigns are humming, and then PF stall city.
It's definitely a common pain point, that sinking feeling when the algorithm seems to turn against you. But the good news is, this research paper we're looking at today, it lays out some really clear data-backed strategies for recovery.
And that paper is titled PPC Momentum Research Paper.md. It's full of data, insights, specific steps. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty focused. We're going through every single strategy in this paper related to recovering momentum damage. We'll briefly touch on why it's important and how you lose it, just for context, but the main event is the recovery playbook itself. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. So just quickly, what is momentum in Amazon PPC? Essentially, it's that sustained positive performance, consistent visibility, good click-through rates, decent conversion rates, and steady sales velocity.
Right, and the paper stresses why it's such a big deal. It's this whole algorithmic reinforcement thing, isn't it? Amazon's system rewards consistency. Good PPC performance boosts your organic rank.
Exactly. Which then means you might need less ad spend over time. It's a flywheel.
Lower cost, better ad placements.
Yeah, the data points are pretty compelling. Things like 18-35% lower cost per click, 20-40% higher conversion rates from better placements, lower customer acquisition costs overall.
And products that keep momentum.
They see big benefits. The paper mentions 73% higher organic session share after 90 days, 41% lower ACOS in months 3 to 6, and are 2.8 times more likely to snag that Amazon's Choice badge. The algorithm is watching closely, using things like 14-day moving averages and really prioritizing recent performance.
Okay, so super important. But let's quickly cover how it breaks, because knowing the pitfalls helps understand the fixes. The paper highlights some common mistakes.
A big one is abrupt campaign pauses, just switching things off. The research shows this really erodes algorithmic trust. We're talking a quality score reset of maybe 45-60%, session vitality penalties, cutting placement priority by 20-35%.
Ouch. So it's not just a temporary blip.
Not at all. It hits organic rank too, an 18% average decline mentioned, and it makes getting back to your previous sales velocity much harder, 2.1 times higher customer acquisition cost after just a 7-day pause. A really stark finding. 68% of campaigns reactivated after a pause never regain their old profitability levels.
Right, okay, what else?
Running out of daily budget. If your ads stop showing halfway through the day, you lose visibility, miss potential sales during peak times, and signal inconsistency. That search lost impression share budget metric spiking above 30%. That's a key warning sign.
Makes sense. You got to be in it to win it all day.
Then there's rapid campaign restructuring, changing things too fast, too often. This forces the algorithm into recalibration mode. Think 22-35% higher CPCs, 18-27% lower impression share for maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
And you can end up competing against yourself, right?
Yep, absolutely. The paper estimates 28-45% of ad spend can be wasted on self-cannibalization. Plus, it messes up your data signals. Restructuring weekly. The paper says those campaigns lose 73% of their algorithmic trust credits.
Yikes. Okay, one more big one.
Stockouts. Highly damaging. Running out of inventory means you lose the buy box, which pauses your sponsored product ads. But sponsored brands and display might keep running, just wasting money.
And it kills your sales velocity.
Instantly. A 25-40% immediate drop plus customer defection. And when you do get back in stock, you need much higher bids, 2.1 times higher, the paper suggests, just to regain visibility. Organic share drops too, 18-35%. The hidden costs often outweigh inventory savings.
Okay, so the consequences are severe, potentially long-lasting. But the research offers hope, a path back.
Exactly, and this is where it gets really practical. Source 42 in the paper provides an immediate action protocol for when you first detect momentum loss after making changes. Step 1. Diagnostic check. Simple, but crucial. Review all changes made in the last 7 days. Bids, keywords added or paused, budget shifts, match type changes, everything.
How do you pinpoint the culprit among all those changes?
Look at the metrics. The research gives specific signals. Did your click-through rate drop more than 15%? That points to relevance issues, maybe bid problems. Did ATS spike over 20% without more sales? That's inefficient spending. Session vitality score below 75 out of 100? Problem with the post-click experience on your listing.
Tools can help here.
Definitely. Real-time tools like Amazon Marketing Stream for hourly checks or PPC audit tools like accelerant can flag these anomalies quickly. Step 2. Revert high-risk changes. Based on that diagnosis, undo the changes that seem most likely to have caused the damage. If you tweaked bids on top keywords and CPC shot up without results, roll it back. Pause brand new keywords if they have terrible CTR or ACS right out of the gate. Switched match types and lost impression share, revert to the old ones for now.
So hit the undo button on the likely suspects.
Precisely, but targeted based on the data. And importantly, also resume proven settings, reactivate high-performing campaigns or keywords you might have paused. The paper suggests immediately putting about 70% of your budget back into those core, previously stable campaigns.
Okay, undo the bad, restore the good. What's next?
Step 3. Stabilize algorithmic trust. This is vital. The paper recommends keeping a good chunk, 45–60% of your keywords overlapping with what you had before the changes. This helps maintain relevance signals. And use bid plus placements, maybe a 25% increase, specifically on your exact match brand terms. It's like just signaling confidence to Amazon. Also, for maybe 7 to 14 days, switch your bidding to dynamic bids down only. It helps control spending while things settle.
Got it. Trust building. Then what?
Step 4. Budget reallocation. Shift budget, say 20–30% away from the clear underperformers, like terms with ACOS over 150%, towards your winners, ACOS near target, good CTR CVR. Focus on top search placements with slightly higher bids, maybe 15–25% during your peak selling hours, usually 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Makes sense. Feed the winners.
Step 5. Inventory safeguards. This involves checking your inventory stress coefficient, or ISC. Basically, daily sales divided by inventory days remaining. If that number's over 1.5, it means you're selling fast relative to high stockout risk.
So what do? Pause everything.
No. The paper actually advises reducing bids significantly, maybe by 50%, but keeping the campaigns active. A complete pause or stockout is much worse for algorithmic trust. Keep some activity going, even if it's less aggressive.
Interesting. Keep the lights on, even if dimmed. And finally,
post-recovery monitoring. You can't just set it and forget it. The research emphasizes vigilance. Use automated alerts in tools like iHello Autopilot or Diagnostic to flag issues. For example, if ACOS goes 15% over target, maybe auto-pause for 48 hours. If CTR drops 10%, maybe bump bids 10% on core keywords. Once you see about 7 days of stability, then you can start gradually optimizing again small daily bid changes, testing just a couple of new keywords weekly.
Wow, that's a really comprehensive first response. Fast, but very methodical.
Exactly. Immediate data-driven action is key. And beyond that initial triage, the research details several specific strategies to actively rebuild that lost momentum.
Okay, let's get into those deeper strategies. The first one mentioned leverages past campaign success. How does that work?
Right. This is from Source 43. It's essentially about using your own history as a guide. You need to audit your historical data using Amazon's reports or tools like Helium 10 or Seller App. Find those periods when things were really clicking. Identify the keywords that consistently hit your ACOS target, had great CTR, like 0.8% or higher, great CVR, maybe 12% or higher. Look for high session vitality scores too, like over 82.
So find your golden oldies, the keywords and settings that were definite winners.
Pretty much. Then you strategically reactivate those proven keywords. Start bids at maybe 80% of their historical CPC. The paper even suggests a formula using historical CTR elasticity to fine-tune bids. If top search placements worked well for them before, prioritize those again with a bid boost, say plus 25%.
And campaign structure.
Rebuild it to mirror what worked before. If you had separate campaigns for branded, generic, competitor terms, and that was successful, replicate that structure. Apply the negative keywords from your previous audits too, and critically align with past inventory rhythms. Maintain that healthy ISC range, 0.8 to 1.2, by syncing your restocks with how fast you were selling during those peak times. Use tools like Diagnostic to help manage this.
So you're essentially trying to recreate the successful conditions.
Exactly. Reintroduce those proven patterns, and again, maintain that 45–60% keyword overlap with the past campaign, and use dynamic bids down, only for the first week or two to rebuild trust. Set alerts based on those historical benchmarks. The research shows this method helps sellers recover 85–92% of lost momentum within about 14 to 21 days.
Okay, solid strategy. What about budgets during recovery? You mentioned reallocation earlier, but Source 44 goes deeper.
Yes, budget is a critical lever, but needs careful handling. Throwing money blindly won't work. First, gradual budget reallocation, like we touched on. Shift 20–30% from underperformers to high performers, those hitting targets with good engagement. Prioritize top search, plus 15–25% bids. Balance across campaign types, maybe bump sponsored brands 10–15% for visibility. Keep auto campaigns going with 5–10% if you're low on stock, and definitely decrease spend on the losers by 20–30%. Second, incremental budget scaling. This is key. Avoid big shots. stocks. Increase overall budget slowly, just 10–20% per day. If you're at $50, go to $55–$60, then increase from that new baseline the next day. And use dynamic bids down only while doing this.
Slow and steady wins the race, algorithmically speaking.
Exactly. Third, stockout mitigation. We mentioned keeping campaigns active, but with reduced bids, like 50% lower if your ISC is high, 1.5. The paper suggests allocating maybe 15–20% of your budget to auto campaigns in this scenario, just to maintain some presence. Fourth, algorithmic trust preservation via budget. Maintain that keyword overlap. Apply bid plus 25% on your legacy exact match strong performers, and use day parting to allocate about 70% of your budget to your peak hours, 10 a.m., 8 p.m. typically. And fifth, fraud and waste reduction. Use tools like Spider AF to block invalid clicks that skew your metrics. Redirect that saved money. Prune negative keywords that are eating budget without conversions.
So targeted, gradual, and mindful of inventory, not just cranking up the spend.
Absolutely not. Precision is key. The research suggests these methods can lead to 85–92% momentum recovery within just 7 to 14 days.
Okay, keywords are obviously huge too. Source 45 talks about revising the keyword approach.
Yes, if keywords were part of the problem, you need a surgical approach. First, immediate diagnostic and reversion. Audit keyword changes from the last 7–14 days. Did you pause keywords that were actually getting clicks and sales? Over negation. Did you cut bids too much and kill CTR? 15% drop. Did changing match types tank impression share? 25% loss. Find those mistakes and revert them. Restore strong legacy keywords. Remove negatives you might have added too quickly on terms that could still have potential.
Clean up the recent mistakes.
Right. Then, gradual reoptimization. Slowly increase bids just 5–10% daily on keywords you want to reactivate until their metrics look healthy again. Use dynamic bids down only. Maintain that 45–60% keyword overlap. And test broad match modifiers with the plus sign. This lets you capture variations without a full quality score reset like pure broad match might cause. Third, negative keyword refinement. Go through your negatives. Are you blocking terms that could convert? Maybe change some exact negatives to phrase negatives if they were too restrictive. Create themed lists like negative brand terms for competitors or price-sensitive terms if you're premium.
Get smarter with the negatives.
Exactly. Fourth, inventory-driven allocation. Link bids to your ISC. If ISC is low, 0.8, meaning slow sales by stock, maybe reduce bids 15–20% on your fastest-selling keywords to pace things better. Focus 70% of your budget on keywords that are both profitable and engaging. Good session vitality. Fifth, algorithmic trust restoration. Keep 3 to 5 core legacy keywords running consistently. Apply bid plus 25% on top. Search for your brand terms. Set ACOS and CTR alerts based on recent 14-day averages. And finally, post-revision monitoring. Use Amazon Marketing Stream for hourly checks if needed. Aim for a good share of voice, like ease 65% on your core terms. Weekly search term harvesting. Add converters as exact, look for phrase variants, negate irrelevant terms.
Really sounds like precision work, almost like keyword surgery during recovery.
It requires that level of care. The research shows 85–92% momentum recovery is possible within 14–21 days with this focused keyword approach.
Okay, the paper also mentions strategic promotions in Source 46. How do they fit into recovery?
Promotions can be a powerful accelerator, but again, they need strategy. Lightning deals. Those short 4–12-hour discounts, great for boosting CTR, 1.8, 2.5x lift mentioned, and driving velocity, which helps organic rank. Good for clearing stock or reviving slow movers. Pair them with increased SP bids, plus 25%, but watch your ISC target 0.8, 1.2. Prime exclusive discounts, PED, 10–20% off for Prime members, helps trigger Amazon's choice, best for higher margin items. Can combine with subscribe and save for an extra lift, 1.8x conversion lift noted. Aim for Prime peak hours, be aware of the fee per A assigned during big events.
Okay, coupons too.
Yep, percentage off coupons, easy visible discounts, 10–80%. They reduce friction, can increase basket size, 22–35% lift with cross-sells mentioned. Best in lower competition niches. Keep margins in mind, maybe limit to 20% off. Buy one, get one, BOG. Boosts average order value significantly, 40–60%. Good for bundles, complementary items, or new launches. Use minimum purchase thresholds. Subscribe and save. Fantastic for stabilizing sales velocity or recurring discounts, 5–15%. Builds retention, 70–80% mention. Ideal for consumables. Offer tiers. Sync restocks carefully using ISC.
Lots of options.
There's more. Brand-tailored promotions. Target specific segments like cart abandoners or repeat buyers with 10-50% off. Recovers 18-25% of carts. Boosts LTV 30-45%. Great for premium brands, social media promo codes. Drive external traffic. Helps session vitality. The paper notes a 2.1x higher CTR from social referrals. Good for launches. Use UTMs, cap redemptions, and early reviewer program discounts. Trade discounts for reviews. Each review boosts CVR. 18-27% lift mentioned. Accelerates Amazon's choice. Best for products with few reviews, 15. Limit units per day.
Wow, okay, so it's not just about slashing prices, it's very targeted.
Exactly. Align the promotion type with your specific goal, product economics, and inventory status. Using these tactics strategically contributes to that 85-92% momentum recovery within 14-21 days, according to the research. Avoid common pitfalls like eroding margins too much.
What if the damage is really severe? Like after a long pause or that rapid restructuring mess, does the paper suggest just starting over?
Not exactly starting over, but Source 16 details a structured campaign rebuilding protocol for those situations. It's a 21-day plan designed to preserve as much existing momentum, up to 92% mentioned, while aiming for better long-term efficiency, like 18-35% lower ACOS.
21 days. Okay, what does that involve?
It's phased. Phase 1, pre-rebuild prep, days 1 to 3. Establish baseline metrics, session vitality, organic listing conversion, or OLC, ISC. Map your keywords. Identify the top 20% driving 80% of sales to preserve, retire the duds, cluster the rest. Then design the new structure, often based on intent, exact phrase, broad campaigns. Phase 2, parallel testing, days 4-14. Launch the new structure with maybe 20% of the budget. Keep the old campaigns running, but reduce their bids by 15%. Apply aggressive bid plus 50% on critical keywords in the new structure. Monitor hourly metrics closely, CTR drop, CVR changes, impression share loss. These trigger immediate adjustments. Use negative keyword cascading to prevent overlap.
Okay, running both side by side for a bit.
Exactly. Then phase 3, full cutover, days 15-21. Gradually migrate keywords 10% per day. Maintain that 45-60% overlap. Shift budget incrementally, maybe 70% old, 30% new on day 15, eventually reaching 100% new by day 21. Lock in trust by ensuring high impression share, 80%, on core keywords for 14 days. Use dynamic bids down only for the first week post-cutover. After that, it's post-rebuild optimization, day 22 plus. Use advanced placement controls, weekly search term harvesting, set up automated bid rules and alerts based on ACS, velocity, and inventory, ISC. There's also a risk mitigation protocol. Monitor a momentum preservation score. If it drops below 0.85, you might need to revert to phase 2 temporarily.
That sounds incredibly detailed and requires serious commitment.
It absolutely does. Patience and precision are paramount, respecting those 14-day algorithmic learning cycles. But the payoff, according to the research, is a 2.3 times faster momentum recovery compared to just winging it.
So putting it all together, what's the typical recovery timeline look like based on Source 47?
It really varies. A short stockout, 1-7 days. You might recover in 4-7 days with quick action, but longer issues take longer. A prolonged stockout, 30-plus days, or a campaign pause, 7-14 days. Recovery could take 14-45 days or 21-35 days, respectively. Aggressive bid or keyword changes that mess up quality scores. Expect 14-28 days for recalibration. Factors that speed things up. Strong existing organic rank helps a lot, 2.1x faster recovery noted. Good inventory health. ISC staying below 1.5 avoids setbacks. Committing enough ad spend, 120-150% of pre-disruption levels for 7-14 days builds trust.
And of course, using those structured recovery strategies we discussed.
So yeah, the more severe the initial hit, the longer the road back. Makes sense. Definitely. And Source 48 wraps things up by summarizing the key lessons learned from dealing with momentum loss. Things to internalize to avoid repeating mistakes. Number 1, inventory management is non-negotiable. Stockouts are momentum killers. Monitor ISC, target 0.8, 1.2, use buffer stock, 115-130%, leverage tools. Number 2, gradual campaign optimization. Avoid sudden shocks, 10% daily changes. Use phased adjustments, 5-10% daily bids, 14-21 day keyword transitions with 45-60% overlap. Use dynamic bidding. Number 3, negative keyword hygiene. Be vigilant. Over-negating block sales, 28-45% loss mentioned. Under-negating waste budget, weekly audits. Use phrase negatives first.
Put those negatives clean. Got it.
Number 4, algorithmic trust preservation. Consistency matters. Maintain quality score anchors, core keywords, optimize your product pages for session vitality, aim for 90s dwell time, 12% add to cart. Number 5, budget allocation discipline. Don't starve performers. Use the 80-20 rule perhaps, 80% manual, 20% auto. Reduce bids 50% during stockouts, but keep auto campaigns active. Number 6, synergy between paid and organic. Remember, PPC fuels organic. Track that OLC. Aim for 1.8, 2.4. Avoid abrupt pauses. Use gradual 25% daily reductions over 4 days if needed.
And they feed each other.
Right. Number 7, proactive monitoring tools. Use tech to react fast. Amazon Marketing Stream for hourly data, Helium 10 or Seller app for alerts and audits. And number 8, strategic promotions. Use them wisely, aligned with inventory to revive velocity when needed.
It really hammers home that prevention is way, way easier than cure. It absolutely is. But the core message here is that if momentum is lost, it's not necessarily fatal. Following a methodical, data-driven recovery plan based on these principles significantly improves your odds of getting back on track. The research suggests applying these lessons reduces the risk of future momentum loss by 70 to 85%.
So wrapping up our deep dive on recovering Amazon PPC momentum, based entirely on this research paper, what's the biggest takeaway for you?
I think the core message is that recovery is achievable, but it demands structure and data. You have to diagnose the specific cause fast, methodically reverse the harmful changes, lean on what worked historically, and then make targeted adjustments across budget, keywords, even promotions, all while respecting the algorithm's need for stability. Don't panic, make a plan.
And keep that laser focus on the key metrics, ACOS, CTR, CVR, session vitality, that inventory stress coefficient, monitoring them closely, almost hour by hour sometimes during recovery.
Exactly. And remembering that you're rebuilding that crucial paid organic connection. It might feel like a marathon, not a sprint, especially after a big setback. But having this kind of playbook grounded in research can definitely help you accelerate the process.
It really makes you pause and think. If maintaining consistent momentum is this powerful positive flywheel, what are the subtle ways you might be inadvertently putting the brakes on it right now? And conversely, what could achieving near-perfect consistency unlock for your Amazon business? Something to chew on as you manage your own campaigns.